Yes, I know there's only one F on off. They only put 2 in the box. They only give you 2 letters, 2 copies of each letter. I can't do anything about that, can I? I try my hardest. I want to tell EA to fuck off. Instead, I'm going to have to tell them to fuck off. So yes, EA, you can fuck off. Imagine this. You are the biggest video game publisher in the world. Your back catalogue is just as extensive as your history within the medium, and your net worth reflects that fact entirely. In 2014, the world's biggest movie franchise, Star Wars, announces its return and tasks you with creating its licensed video games. Early signs of this deal look promising. Trailers begin to trickle out of your first attempt, Star Wars Battlefront, and by all accounts are received quite positively. It genuinely looks like the game that Star Wars fans have always wanted. Unfortunately, it doesn't quite live up to expectations. Sure, you had a fine foundation of a game, but that's all it ever was. Just a foundation. Then you come out in 2016. You reveal the sequel. You promise that you've heard fan feedback, that you've recognised where the first game fell short, and detail why this sequel will not fail. Why Star Wars Battlefront 2 will not fail. All you had to do then was release a game that stuck to this plan, that improved upon the first, and treated the fans that you had sworn you'd listen to with the respect that they deserve. Except you didn't, did you? Because you are Electronic Arts, and you are a bunch of money-hungry, slimy lizard fucks. Okay, I've been trying to write this video for nearly 2 weeks now, and every time I get just a little closer to finishing, another layer of shit gets added to this already shitty snowball of utter shit that Electronic Arts got rolling a few weeks ago. So first off, before I get into the weeds with this topic and cast my scathing opinion upon Electronic Farce and their utter cock-up, let us recap said cock-up. Believe me, we're going to need this. We're going to need a beer for this one, mate. Trust me. Last week, players who had bought a deluxe edition of Star Wars Battlefront 2, or who were signed up to EA Access, were able to play the hotly anticipated Star Wars title a few days before it was available to us peasants. Shortly after this early access was granted, fans noticed that some of the key heroes that were actually available from the start of the first game were locked in the game's multiplayer modes. It turned out that to unlock some key characters like Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker, players would need to earn up to 60,000 credits to purchase them. Suspicious of this high price tag, some clever sod worked out how long it would actually take to earn those credits in-game, by working out an average drop rate per each online match. It soon became apparent that it would take around 40 fucking hours of play to earn those 60,000 credits. You heard 40 hours of gameplay to unlock Darth Vader in a fucking Star Wars game. And then another 40 hours of gameplay to unlock Luke pissing Skywalker. Quite clearly, this shitty tactic was put in place by Electronic Tarts, not the developer DICE, and I will get onto reasons as to why I think that is very shortly, to funnel players toward their loot box system, and more specifically into buying loot boxes to earn those credits faster. You see, loot boxes are an integral part of Battlefront 2, playing a major role in how you upgrade your character. You can buy these loot boxes with credits earned in-game, or with a premium currency in the form of crystals that EA will sell to you at the low price of £79.99. And that is more than the game is worth itself. Oh, and did I mention that the items these loot boxes drop are totally random? That there is quite a likely chance you won't actually get what you want or need from them, forcing you to buy even more. What this really means then is that to fully upgrade every class, upgrade every weapon, and unlock every hero, it would take over 4,000 hours of gameplay, or $2,000 US. No shit. No shit there, mate. 2,000 quid, or 4,000 hours of your time. This sentiment stands on its own now, doesn't it? Really. Now, after this embarrassing shit show came to light just days before the game was fully released, EA decided to make a statement on Reddit. A statement in which they had the audacity to defend their actions by claiming that this high price point on some heroes would give players a great sense of pride and achievement when they finally unlocked them. Or, you paid for them. Or paid for them. You can buy them. You literally buy them. Are you proud of that? Do you feel like you've achieved something by buying them? Subsequently, this Reddit post was subject to the wrath of the internet, and quite hilariously became the most downvoted Reddit post of all time in less than 1 day. So after the trending abuse, the apparent disdain of the Star Wars fans, and the fury that was rained down upon Electronic Sharts, they decided to appease the fans, reducing hero costs by 75%. That meant now, to unlock Darth Vader, you would only need 15,000 credits, which, by my calculations,
2 + 2 is 4, -1, that's 3, quick maths.
is still around about 10 hours of gameplay. 10 hours of being shit at multiplayer to unlock Darth Vader. But somehow, it doesn't even end there, as the general consensus was that this was too little, too late, and that the damage had already been done by EA. After all, it wasn't the price of the heroes that was the main point of contention here. That was just a symptom of a much larger problem. A problem that has become a bit of a trend in the latter half of 2017. Loot boxes. Fucking loot boxes. EA took player progression and fan favourite heroes as hostages, trapped them behind paywalls, and drove players toward loot boxes in a malicious way. They forced the player's hand into buying what is essentially just a chance at getting the item or upgrade or even the credits that they wanted. It is shambolic and wholly offensive to the players. So offensive, in fact, that the players fought back. As such, a day before release, 4 days or so after this saga began, Bellendtronic Arts made quite an astonishing move, pulling microtransactions from Star Wars Battlefront 2. Except they didn't, or at least they didn't want to accept responsibility for it. Instead, they sent Oscar Gabrielson, general manager of DICE Studios, to apologise to fans. To apologise for a feature that was probably forced into his game at the hand of EA. You see, I cannot for the life of me imagine a developer, or any creative person for that matter, wanting to exploit the people who enjoy their creations. It just doesn't fit, it just doesn't feel right. And I know this as a creative myself, because praise for your work is worth so much more than the money it can generate. This cowardly move by EA was made entirely to take the limelight off them, to make DICE the scapegoat and become the one at fault here. And although this decision to pull microtransactions was a step in the right direction, EA's complete dismissal of responsibility was quite frankly shocking. And somehow, with this sordid tale, we're not done. We are far from done yet. There's even more to it. It seems as if Disney themselves had to step in and force the hand of EA to make that decision to pull microtransactions. I mean, I can't even be bothered to explain how any of this came to be, so I'll let a story that ran on GameSpot explain it for you. Quote, "It seems like Disney executive Jimmy Patario, who heads up the company's consumer products and interactive media division, might have been involved in the decision to have microtransactions removed." The Wall Street Journal reported that Patario spoke with EA management just hours before microtransactions were removed. Patario reportedly informed EA that executives at Disney were upset by how the dissatisfaction amongst players reflected on their marquee property. I mean, that's astonishing, right? It's fucking astonishing. So that single step in the right direction, that move to appease fans and to do good by their game, wasn't even made by EA. It wasn't EA's decision. No, Daddy Disney had to come in, clip EA behind the ear, tell it to stop being such a cunt before any of this happened. Now do you see what I mean about this being a long-winded affair? It's a bunch of fucking nonsense, isn't it? There are just so many moving parts, so much bullshit EA has had to deal with through its own fault. And even now, as I write and record this video, developments continue to happen as a direct result of this. The state of Hawaii is now looking to form legislation that protects underage children from loot boxes and other gambling mechanics in video games. Hawaii State Representative Chris Lee even branded Battlefront 2 as a Star Wars-themed online casino designed to lure kids into an addictive cycle of gambling money for a chance to win game upgrades. Even Belgium is getting involved now, having their gambling authority investigating the presence of loot boxes in Star Wars Battlefront 2 to determine whether or not these mechanics are actually gambling. Belgian Minister of Justice Cohen Greens said on the matter that, quote, "Mixing gambling and gaming, especially at a young age, is dangerous for the mental health of the child," end quote. And all of this from EA's tone-deaf, ego-fueled greed to not just have some of your money, but every last fucking drop of it. Their actions have damaged the integrity of the medium, even bringing video games back into the political limelight once again. Electronic arse are not the only culprits here though. Cocks, Act Dick Vision, Warner Fuckers and Take-Two Interact shit have all thrown their own fuel into this fire. Each and every single one of them exploits their players and dismantles what their developers create to generate more profit. They treat both creator and consumer alike with the utmost of disrespect, milking them for all they are worth to satiate their vampiric cause. The simple fact is that loot boxes and microtransactions have become a stain on this industry, and such a heavy presence of them in the latter part of this year has all but spoiled what has been a great year for video games. Worse still is that the inclusion of these mechanics, especially in a single player game, undermines what is and what always will be the biggest draw of video games: escapism. The reason I play games, the reason many people play games, is for that escapism, for that momentary relief from our day-to-day lives. Video games help us detach ourselves from our problems and stresses, providing a coping mechanism that is just as legitimate as reading a book or watching a movie. These loot box and microtransaction gambling mechanics bring you out of that escapism, removing you from that experience by demanding more of your money if you want the complete version of it. I mean, look, I don't want a fucking unicorn to ride around Egypt on, and I sure as shit don't need loot boxes dropping onto Normandy Beach when I'm trying to imagine what it was like for those brave men who fought for our freedom. We don't fucking need it. Get it out of our faces. These are simply scummy tactics made by total scumbags who seem to be more capable at running a gambling racket than a video game publishing company. Thankfully though, the bubble appears to be bursting for this loot box trend thanks to Electronic Fuck Off, who have managed to push this money-making mechanic beyond any reasonable usage. So much so that even the outer gaming community and non-gamers alike are starting to take note of this issue. My hope is that this recent political interest in this issue gains some traction, hopefully exterminating these parasites out of the gaming industry. Because that's all they are. A bunch of parasites. Parasites that are slowly leeching all of the life out of the industry, so they can get bigger, fatter and hungrier than ever. This time though, they've gotten so fat, so gluttonous, so bulbous because of their greed, that even they cannot sustain their own weight. And I hope to God that they crumble into fucking nothing because of it. Boom! So that is Short Thoughts. Short Thoughts version 2.0, even though I only did one video, Short Thoughts, in the first place. Yeah, so these were supposed to be game reviews, and they may still be game reviews. Well, basically, what I want Short Thoughts to be now is a replacement for Hilarious Name Pending. You see, the problem with Hilarious Name Pending was that I had 3, maybe 4 topics that I wanted to talk about each week, and I always wanted to go into more depth with them. I wanted to write more about each topic. The format of Hilarious Name Pending didn't allow for that. It didn't let me do a deep dive into subjects like this. It would have to be a short, quick quip. Whereas this, I can dedicate 2,000 words to. I've just dedicated around 2,000 words to pulling apart EA and their bullshit. So, from now on, every Friday, Short Thoughts, me and a certain specific topic regarding the video game industry. Could be a game review, could be a dissemination of some industry bullshit, could even be a little review of the Nintendo Switch that I just bought, which it probably will be next week. So look forward to that one. Anyway, if you did like this video, if you did like this reimagined version of Short Thoughts, which is now replacing Hilarious Name Pending, let me know in the comments down below or over on Twitter at DarylDoes. And until next time, my friends, 2 + 2 is 4. -3, that's 1.